Hey guys, Blue here, and I know I'm a little late to the party on this one, but what did I say? If you don't know what I said, you can see it in the video, the top right corner of the screen now, but I totally called it, and that it was that the Vector was going to be added into Modern Warfare 2019. Well, it has been leaked. It's not entirely sure, I guess I should say that, but I totally called it. If there's any gun that they were going to add, this is probably going to be one of the top contenders, either that or the ACR. I think the ACR is a strong contender too. But the topic of this video is how they're going to add it to the game. And if you want to be the first to see new gameplay, walkthroughs, guides, tips, tricks, and all that stuff, please be sure to subscribe and click that bell. It means a lot. Can't do this without you guys. If you want to be the first to know when a new video goes live, please subscribe, click that bell. Anyway, on with the video. Now, as I said before, it has been leaked that they're going to be adding the Vector to Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2019, but the thing that I'm worried about is exactly how they're going to add it to the game. As we know before in Black Ops 4 with the reserve crates, Activision isn't afraid of putting new weapons inside or behind paywalls, and I think that is a terrible thing. I understand that they said they were going to avoid loot boxes by adding in the Battle Pass, and as I said before in the video, if you decided to click it, that they have no issue putting in gameplay altering things behind things you have to pay money for. And even though I don't believe Activision for a second when they say they're not going to add loot boxes, because they have lied about that before, I really do think that they are going to put these new guns behind some form of payment. I would honestly be shocked if they didn't. They've only promised that there's not going to be loot boxes in. They didn't say anything about new guns or anything like that, or how they were going to make these guns available to the players. So maybe they'll be inside of the Battle Pass. I don't know. Because as far as I know, what better way to incentivize someone paying for the Battle Pass than adding guns to it? It might be a really shitty thing to do. I mean, obviously it would make a lot of fans upset, but what we need to remember is that these game companies obviously don't have much of a problem with making people upset, because if you could remember, anytime loot boxes are added to a game or suggested that they're going to be added to a game, the fans will get upset. That's what always happens. Fans of the game will get upset. There'll be some Reddit threads. Young Yeah will make a video about it. The Quartering will make a video about it. And people will raise their pitchforks and torches for like maybe a month. Maybe that's the longest it'll go. Then people will either get over it or they'll just accept it and they'll move on. And with these game companies make these systems, these loot box systems, these pay to win, I don't want to say pay to win, but they make these for money systems. They think about your reaction in mind. Like, if you don't think that these game companies have boardrooms filled with people trying to predict the reaction because they know it's going to be negative and they account for that, but they know that once the dust settles, it'll be okay. They'll announce these systems or whatever, or the systems will come out. People will be upset, but they know in the end they'll come out on top because, I mean, let's be frank, people that don't know or don't really give a shit, which is most people. I mean, we have to admit that. Most people don't care about loot boxes. They don't care about the ethics of loot boxes or any of that shit. They just want to look cool in the game that they enjoy playing. That's really what it comes down to for like, what, 70+% of the player base? Probably more than that, actually. And they know that once they announce this shit, people will be upset, but in the end they'll get what they want, which is money, because it's worked before. I mean, Call of Duty Black Ops 4 had a battle pass, it had loot boxes, it had everything, red dots that cost $1 each, and correct me if I'm wrong on this one, guys, that red dot wasn't genuine. I don't think they added that thinking like, oh, they're totally going to be okay with this and they're going to buy it. They added that red dot as a test, and I bring that up because they're going to see what they can get away with in Modern Warfare 2019. I guarantee it. That red dot, or those red dots, because I think there was 2 of them, in Black Ops 4 was a test. Because what they were trying to do is they were like, all right, let's get our feet wet. Let's see how far we can push the envelope. Let's add these red dots, and whatever money we make is the money we make. And I mean, it was only $1, but I guarantee you they made what? They probably made like 10 grand off of that thing, which is obviously a profit because those things took what, like 30 minutes to make minimum. So they sell these and they're like, all right, let's see just how far we can push this. And obviously there was a huge backlash and they remove it. and then they get to garner, like, oh, hey, they listen to us, woo, maybe Activision's not so bad, which I think is also kind of a part of the plan. But they add these in, and their reception is poor. They make a little bit of money, and then they pull back. All right, there's the bar. Now, as long as we don't go past that, then everything will be okay. And then everything they do from that point on is before that. So in comparison, subliminally or subconsciously or not, people in their heads are like, well, at least this isn't like one of those stupid red dots, so I guess this is okay. And I think what's going to happen is Modern Warfare, they're going to try to see what they can get away with, and whether or not that thing that they can get away with is guns inside of the battle pass or other things that affect gameplay, because who knows what's going to be in them. Because banners, your call signs and all that, it's going to get old really fast, because at least in a game like Fortnite, you have access to like actual skins. And I don't know if they're going to do that. I mean, no one does, because there is still the Call of Duty store. And I don't know how many people have purchased that endowment pack, if anyone really. I don't know anyone that's bought it, and I'm sure people have, but I've never been killed by someone with the little like star and like the wings reticle. I've never been killed by anyone with that, so I don't know how well it's selling. But that Call of Duty store being in the game, it's really ominous. Like, I don't know about you guys, every time I log in, I check to see what's in the store to see if they've like broken a promise yet, because the longer that the store is in there, the more time passes. I'm like, I'm waiting. Like, every day I'm waiting for them to break their promise and be like, to see, all right, what are they going to try to get away with? Because, that reticle, I mean, yes, it's a part of a pack. That reticle is in the game, and it's a reticle you pay for, which, as I just talked about, they're okay with selling reticles, and maybe they'll try it again. Maybe they'll be like, hey guys, we're going to sell this reticle, and maybe this time it'll be 50 cents instead of $1, and maybe people's reaction will be different. Maybe like, 50 cents, that's, I guess that's okay. And that's letting Activision know that, like, what buttons they can and cannot push, and how far they're willing to take their player base, and how far their player base is willing to give them their money. I know I said at the beginning that this was a video about the Vector, and it still is, but I'm just very, very worried that these people, the devs, well, maybe not the devs, because they don't really have much say in how the game's monetized, at least not as much when they have a parent company or a company that owns them. They want to do one thing. Like, I don't know how Infinity Ward is going to feel about this. I know I'm making a lot of presumptions right now, but I feel as though they're safe presumptions to make. We know Activision's track record. It's obviously wouldn't be that big of a surprise if we saw some really heinous shit end up in the store or in the battle pass or anything like that. But maybe I'm being a bit paranoid. It's entirely true, possible, whatever. And I don't know, like, if it wasn't for Crash Team Racing, if it wasn't for WoW, if it wasn't for basically every franchise that company touches, I'm pretty sure Activision owns King, the mobile game series. They're like, their business is making money. They're a company, and they know that if they can get away with something, regardless of how loud the minority screams. I mean, not in all cases. Like I said, they did pull back on the reticle thing, but that's because it's just a reticle, and them pulling back on it makes them look good. So, like I said, they're testing the waters. We know this company's track record. We know what they've done before. We know that they've lied before. So I don't think it's a stretch to assume that this Vector, everyone's really excited for these new guns. I don't think it's off the wall at all to assume that these guns, because, I mean, if they're going to add some now, they're obviously going to add more in the future, because guns are Call of Duty. Like, that's the gameplay loop of Call of Duty is the guns, or your method of eliminating people. They've shown that they don't care what you think. And when they do, it's only when it's like a slam dunk, when it's like, oh, we've clearly fucked up super hard. If we pull back, people will be happy. But at some point, Black Ops 4 was the highest selling Call of Duty. I don't know the numbers on Modern Warfare. I know I like it, but I do remember before Modern Warfare came out that Black Ops 4 was the most profitable Call of Duty that has existed since that point. And it had all the bullshit. It had the boxes, it had the pass, it had the store, it had all of it. So if you don't think that if they can confirm whether or not they're going to make boatloads of cash at the cost of some of their fans' like opinions of them, you'd be really sadly mistaken to think they won't pounce on that opportunity the moment that it arises. And I think to think otherwise is kind of foolish, actually, because, like I said a billion times at this point, Activision doesn't care what you think. If it means they will make money, they will do it. But I don't know, it's entirely possible that they're going to keep their word, and maybe I'm just being paranoid, like I said, but I really would like to know what you guys think down below. Do you think they're going to add the new guns behind a paywall, a loot box in the store, just make them cost real money in any way? I'd really like to know what you guys think, and please remember to subscribe and click that bell to be the first when a new video goes live. I really do appreciate the support, guys, each and every one of you. Every time I read a comment, every time I see the video is liked, it really does mean the world to me. And I mean that. You guys mean a lot to me. But aside from all that sappy stuff, this has been Blue, and until next time, see you guys later.